Hello everybody. Laurie here from Unique in the Creek. Hello on this Friday the 13th evening. Say hello when you come in. I am live right now. It is 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, June 13th, 2025. Say hello when you come in. We are streaming on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you like to watch on the big screen, you can watch me on your TV. Lots of people like to watch on the TV. Hello. Hello. Hi, Lorraine. I haven't seen you in a while. Carrie, Sean, Doris. Good. We have Facebook and YouTube working. Good. Hi, Teresa from South Carolina. Okay, so we're going to get at it because tonight I am going to be doing a hybrid flower. We're going to be doing all kinds of weird tonight. Thanks for floating me, Lorraine. Hello from Montreal. Hi, Sharon Gauthier. Hi, Tony. Hi, Linda from Georgia. Okay, so lots of stuff tonight. We're going to be doing a hybrid flower. Was originally called the Sara flower. I think it should be called something else, but whatever. Anyways, the flower is a rose center. Hi, Judes. Hi, my Judes. Hi, Tina Kelly. The center of this flower is going to be a rose. We're going to make a rose in the center. And then the outer part is going to look like a sunflower, okay? So I've done it a couple times in the VIP group when we used to have it. I don't think I've done it on our Unique in the Creek page. So here's me doing it. But of course, I have to amp it up. So we are going to be doing this flower almost like an ombre style, okay? So this flower is going to go from orange to yellow, okay? It's going to start off orange in the center and work its way out to yellow. Now, to do this, I am going to be fusing some mesh, okay? I'm going to fuse some mesh together. So if you've never, you can actually make your own colors when you fuse mesh together. So I'm using 3 absolutely different types of mesh. So this is where I've said it many times to you guys, you can mix and match different meshes. Hi, Margaret. Hi, 5 stars. Thanks, Lorraine. So I'm going to be using, for the yellow, I'm going to be using horizontal wide stripe, okay? I will be fusing some of this. This is an orange gold two-tone. I will be getting more of this in. As you guys all know, we have a sale. It's the biggest sale we've had. It's 40% off everything except the boards. Guys, we can't put the boards on sale for more than a certain percentage because it's not fair to our other wholesalers that purchase our boards. So we have an agreement with them that we would never put them on sale higher than a certain amount, okay? So that's why they're not on sale. But everything else in the store, I gotta make room, my friends. We have to make room for new stuff coming in. So I will be getting more of this in, but I wanted just to show you guys how you can make different color mesh, okay? So I'm going to be using, like I said, this yellow horizontal wide stripe. I'm going to be using this two-tone gold orange. It's just a value mesh. It looks more gold on the screen. And then I'm also using this orange deluxe foil. Look how sparkly that is, my friends. I believe we have all of it except for this one, I believe. I don't think we have any of this one, but you'll be able to see if you have a normal foil or even an orange value mesh, and you want to make your flower just like I'm making mine tonight, you can just use an orange, instead of a two-tone, you can just use an orange value mesh or an orange normal foiled mesh. Like I said, this one right here is a deluxe foil. It's very sparkly. Okay, we're going to be fusing these mesh. And I'm using, if you guys make sunflowers or any kind of flowers, I think we only have green and yellow left. This is a 50-yard roll of horizontal wide stripe of yellow. So if you make sunflowers, which are a massive seller no matter where you sell them, this is the best bang for your buck. You get 50 yards of it. Okay, 50 yards. I think all the other colors except the green is sold out. But yeah, the 50 yards, especially 40% off now, holy moly. Yes, that is a really good deal. Okay, so I'm going to be fusing some mesh together. So I have my wood burner heating up. I just have it in a coffee cup. Easiest way to store your wood burner. And what I want to do, actually, where is my wreath? I will show you guys. Because this is going to be, you have to pay attention, okay? Now, I'm just using oranges and yellows. You can use whatever colors you want. Fuse whatever colors you want. So, like I said, I'm going from orange to yellow, okay? So the very center of my flower is going to be all orange. And then as we move out, we have a fused orange-yellow petal on row 4, and you'll see what I'm going to do with it. So you're going to have to stay till the end. Sorry, guys. And then on row 3, I have a fused yellow with this orange over top. It just gives the appearance of a lighter orange, but not quite yellow. Do you see that? So we have a fused orange deluxe foil, and the back of it is yellow. That's row 4. Row 3 is going to be a yellow with a two-tone orange. This is where you could use a value mesh orange or a normal foiled orange, just to give it, it will give it a lighter color. It'll give it more of a in-between yellow orange. And then row 2 is completely yellow, okay? And you'll see what we're gonna do to the center. But right now, I'm just gonna show you how you can fuse mesh together. I do have a video on this already on our YouTube channel, but because I'm doing a lot of fused petals for tonight's project, I'm going to show you quickly. You will need a wood burner. You can buy wood burner any craft store. You can buy it on Amazon. There's a link under Laurie's tools. This is just I think it's called a walnut or a hollow nut something. Oh, here it is. Walnut hollow. Okay, I'm just using the tip that comes right on the wood burner. And to hold it, I just use a coffee cup. So that is really hot. You also want to use something that's not going to melt. So I use this tempered glass cutting mat. You can get this also at Amazon. Again, there's a link under Laurie's tools. It's already got measurements on it, especially if you do wood burning a lot. And I like to put a towel underneath because, you know, the wood burner can get really kind of hot. And I find when I put a white towel underneath, I can see the grid better on the glass. But you can also use like the back of a cookie sheet. If you have an old cookie sheet, you can mark 10 inches and mark 10.5 and like make a nice straight line, because normally that's all you'll use is a 10-inch and a 10.5 inch. And you can, you know, wood burn your mesh on that as well. As long as it's not rubber or plastic or anything that's going to melt, okay? So we got our yellow, and we're going to fuse orange over top, okay? So I have my massive roll of yellow horizontal wide stripe, and then I have this beautiful orange deluxe foil. I'm going to put this over top of the yellow, okay? So what I'm going to do is you're just going to line up the two edges. Don't worry about if it's fraying already at the end, because we're going to fuse the beginning as well as fuse our pieces. So I'm just lining up the edges. Now you would do this for any kind of mesh that you want to fuse together. Do it exactly like this. So I just put little clips on them just to hold the two meshes together. So I'm just lining up the edges. And you want to make sure you line up. Just make sure everything's lined up. There we go. Because once you line it up, it pretty much stays lined up as you're cutting or wood burning, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wood burn this edge to make sure it's fused. So I'm going to wood burn both of these mesh together, and it's going to fuse itself, okay? So I like to use my metal ruler I get from the dollar store. Sorry, I'm thirsty. And I'm going to fuse this beginning part off first. Once you do this once and you have to cut more, you only have to do this part once. Now I can see the yellow underneath, and I want to cut in between these thick striations of plastic. It just makes for a straighter cut. So I'm just going to look through here, move my clips down just a bit, because we just want to make a nice cut to get us started off. So I'm making sure that the bottom edge of both of these mesh are running along one of the lines on my glass cutting mat. Hello everyone. I'm just showing you guys how to fuse mesh, because once we get going, I think it's going to be fabulous. I think. All right, so I can see through, and you're going to take your wood burner, use the 45-degree angle. You can see the tip is a 45-degree angle. Zoom down a little more. Okay, and I'm just going to run my wood burner alongside my metal ruler. That makes I get a straight cut. And you can see now that both of these mesh are now one piece. Okay, so they're fused together. So this is now, I'm going to get rid of this little piece. And now I'm going to cut, both of these mesh are 10.5 inches. So I need a 10.5 square. So I like to take a clip and I put it on my cutting mat, and the edge is on the 0. Okay, and everything's lined up, so my edges are running along the bottom. My edge that I just fused is on the 0, and my little clip is holding it. Okay, and we're going to cut this at 10.5 inches. Again, I can see the thicker plastic striations through my orange mesh on top. And we want to cut between those. It gives us a straighter cut. Okay, so this is going to be a 10.5 inch piece. Again, take your wood burner and just slowly, not too slow, but just a nice pace, and go straight down against your ruler. Now, if you don't have a ruler, it's not a big deal. I just find the ruler helps cut everything and keeps it square. And like I said, you can get the metal rulers in the, where the pens and everything are at the dollar store. And there we go. So it is like an orange deluxe foil on the front. And we have a yellow on the back. And you can see that this is still fused from the roll. Now this particular piece that I'm using, I now need to cut it in half, okay? Because we're only going to be using half pieces of this one. And you'll see in a second what I mean. I just wanted to show you guys how to fuse them. So I'm going to cut this piece. So I'm going to turn it into a diamond shape. And I'm going to cut this piece in half down the middle. Okay? So again, still on my glass mat. Now I'm going to go a little faster because this is plastic, this longer cutting thing, because obviously my ruler is not long enough. So I want to cut this in half, but I want to make sure it's kind of straight. So I just use this plastic measuring thing that came with my cutting mat. Okay, and then I'm going to take my wood burner and I'm going to cut this piece in half. Oh, that wasn't a good, obviously. Let's see. It's a little harder going like against the grain here, but there we go. So we have 2 triangles now. The glass cutting mat I got off Amazon. It is under Laurie's Favorite Tools, this exact one. I've had this one for probably about 4 years. It's amazing. You know how many times I've dropped it and it hasn't broke? So it really is a good glass cutting mat. Okay, so now we have 2 petals from the one spliced mesh, okay? For this particular design, we need four whole pieces of the yellow with the orange deluxe foil. Again, you can use whatever colors you want, okay? And then the next layer is going to be yellow with this lighter orange over top. And you're going to cut it exactly the same. So you can just pull the fused piece off. So again, you can use any mesh. I just happen to have orange deluxe foil, which is perfect for what my design I wanted tonight. I had some open. So now this is a value mesh. We're going to do the same. So I'm going to roll it out. And this is just giving the yellow mesh a light hue of orange, which is exactly what I want. Because we're kind of doing an ombre kind of design tonight. An ombre hybrid flower. I think it's going to be pretty fabulous. All right, so I'm lining again. All right, so we're just going to, again, if when you have your mesh, the beginning, because I need 4 of these, you would do all 4 at the same time, so you don't have to keep doing the starter piece. So this one with the yellow with the light orange. So like I said, you can use value mesh, or you can use a just a normal foil orange. We need 8 of these. Okay, so I'll start it off. So again, we're going to start it just like we did the other one. So I'm going to wood burn it to get it fused. Okay, so this little piece is garbage. Garbage. If you guys wouldn't mind floating my boat, sending me over the falls, subscribing, that would be greatly appreciated. All right, so again, 10 and a half, both mesh are 10.5 inches. I'm going to take my ruler, put it at the 10.5, and I'm going to cut right by the 10.5 in between the thicker yellow pieces. Okay, cut like butter. Hello, Laurie. And there we go. So they're fused together. Okay, so this is the yellow with the lighter orange over top. So when we do our flower, it is going to look like a different color than the normal yellow. You'll see in a sec. Okay, so you need, I'm doing 8 pieces of that one. All right, and then when you just need a normal 10.5-inch piece and you need to wood burn it, you just square it all up like you did, and a little easier. We're just going to do the one piece. Again, I'm going in between the thicker okay. So because I'm going to be doing a Dean Michael petal, you're going to see the edges of this petal, and that's why I'm wood burning. Now, normally I would do this with a respirator on because it stinks to high heavens, or I do it outside, but I'm just showing you guys, I didn't feel like talking with a respirator on. Okay. So that is how you fuse your mesh, and that is how you cut it in half. Okay? So, and then if you love sunflowers, grab, I think this is like this whole 50-yard roll. I think it's like $15. Don't quote me, but it's pretty cheap. Hi from Nova Scotia. Okay, that is wood burning. Wood burning 101. I'm going to put this all away because now we're going to make our flower. Okay, so this flower, it's going to be a bit confusing because, like I said, it's going to be a hybrid flower that's going to have a rose. So we're making a rose / sunflower. I am using the large board, and I've written what I'm doing right on the board. Okay? Let me move this out of the way here. Okay, so row 2. Got a big number 2. We're not using row 1. If you want to add green leaves, $16, $16 for 50 yards. You can do a lot of sunflowers with that. And we won't be getting any more. So once it's gone, okay? So row 2 is just all yellow. Okay, so we're just doing normal yellow Dean Michael petals, and I'll show you how I'm doing it. Row 3 is going to be I put LTO, meaning light orange with the yellow. And you can see, I don't know if you guys can see, I can see that little bit of that value two-tone orange over top of the yellow does give it a different hue. So it breaks it up from being completely yellow, and it's in between the orange and the yellow. So that's how we're getting our kind of ombre. So I put on row 3 LTO for light orange and Y for yellow. So that's row 3. Row 4, I put OY, which means orange yellow. And it's going to be these half pieces that we did. Okay? So you're going to do 4 complete squares of orange and yellow, and then cut them in half. And you'll see, because our rose is actually going to start on row 4. So you'll see in a sec once we get going what I'm talking about, okay? So first you're going to do the orange yellow, and then we're going to come back over and start the rose portion of the center on row 4. And then row 5 is just orange, just the orange deluxe foil, okay? That's going to be our rose. Now that I've confused everybody, we'll get started. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here. So on row 2 is just the yellow. Now I like to do what's called the double dean. Now the double dean doesn't require wood burning, and it really gives a deep yellow color. Okay, instead of doing like a simple Dean Michael with a 10.5 by 10.5 inch piece, I cut a piece at 20 inches long, and on row 2 I've done 8 double deans and 8 single. Now you guys can do whatever you want. I just wanted to try and see what it looked like. The double dean, like I said, gives you extremely huge color. Okay, so this is a double dean. You could barely even see through it. And this is a single one. So this one you don't have to wood burn. So a double dean, you're going to cut your mesh. This mesh, I'm going to cut it at 20 inches. And I don't need a wood burner. So I'm just squaring it up, cutting it at 20 inches, okay? Like I said, I'm doing 8 double dean and 8 normal. So we're getting all kinds of stuff in here. I like to fold it over just to find where the center is. So you just kind of fold it over, line up the edges, and find the center, okay? I can see that line going down the center. Now I'm going to curl up the right corner. I'm going to bring this edge, it's going to go straight down the middle. And that's why I like to find the center. Okay, there we go. And then the left is going to go right down the center as well. And this is making a Dean Michael petal, but a double one. And then I'm going to take this whole thing, I'm flipping it. So this whole left side is going over to the right. And we want to make sure that this edge right here is all lined up. So I throw a clip on there. Okay, now it's the start of a normal Dean Michael petal, right? Okay, so I turn this is the top of the Dean Michael. I turn it to the left. Now I want to find the middle of this triangle again. You can stretch it out and try it and find it. I find when you find the exact center of each petal, it makes for a better petal. It really does. So it only takes a second to flip it over, make a little line there, and we know that's exactly where the center is, okay? So I'm going to pinch where that line is, and then I'm going to scrunch or pleat 3 times to the top. So 1, 2, 3. Bring it right to the center. Then I like to flip it around, and I'm going to do it 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Alrighty. Everything's in the center. It's pretty thick. Like I said, it's very yellow. So if you want your sunflower really yellow so that you don't see through it, the double Dean is what you want to do. And then I'm going to take a zip tie. These little tiny corners, I'm just going to kind of fold them back to the back side. And I'm going to put a zip tie on the bottom. You can put a rubber band, or you can stick it right into the board. I pre-made all my petals, so I zip tied them. The zip tie acts like a little stopper. All right, this is what we got. And once you got your zip tie at the bottom, then you're gonna take from the back and you're gonna open that bad boy up. And look how perfect that is. And we didn't even wood burn. We did use double the mesh. That's why I only did 8. So I did 8 normal Dean Michael and 8 double Dean Michael. And then you just open that up. And there we go. We got a perfect, beautiful Dean Michael petal. Okay. The single 10 by 10.5 by 10.5. I'm so thirsty tonight. We're going to diamond shape curl up. You're going to take the top corner, we're going to bring it to the bottom corner. And if you made a perfect square, it should pretty much line up. Okay. This is the top. I'm just going to put a clip on it. All right. I'm going to fold it over just to find the middle. I used to just stretch it down the middle, but I find the petals, if you actually find the exact middle, the petals turn out so much more nice, so much nicer. Okay, so there's my center right there. Pinch, 3, 1, 2, 3. I flip it around, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're gonna just put these little corners in behind. Now you can either put it right into the board, you can rubber band them, or you can put a zip tie. Depends on how you want to do it. I recommend a zip tie. That way, like I said, it's a stopper. If someone were to pull this petal, it's not coming out. But it does put a little bit more cost onto the finished project. So that's totally up to you. Zip tie, rubber band, or just put it right into onto the board. All right, there's our Dean Michael. Now again, you're gonna take this and you're gonna nicely open that right up. This petal, it's great on any. The only thing is with the Dean Michael petal, you pretty much do have to wood burn it. Because you can see both sides of the mesh, right? If you were to use poly burlap and didn't wood burn this, you would have strings everywhere and it would look like a hot mess. So, but if you did a double Dean, which I don't suggest doing with poly burlap because it's quite expensive, but horizontal wide stripe with a double, I want the double Dean on top, and there we go. Okay, so row 2 is just yellow. So this one's a double. Again, past the zip tie and pull it back until it hits the zip tie and do that. Next one is a single. And then a double. So it's just yellow I'm doing on row 2. Just yellow. You can see I use clips a lot. Okay, so I did 8 double Deans and 8 single. You can do just 8 single if you want, or you can do 16 doubles. Totally up to you. If you have a big old roll like this, you may want to do double. Okay, so the next row is the yellow with the orange overlay. Okay, so it's got a little tinge of yellow. That is going to be row 3. Again, it's just the Dean Michael petal. It's got that orange value mesh on the top that we fused, top corner to the bottom corner. Just make sure they're all, the corner, I like to make sure it's lined up. Okay, find your center. Pinch right in the middle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then again, I'm putting the little corners in behind. And you can zip tie it. Okay, once it's on, you're going to open that up. Once we got, look how pretty that is. And I don't know, I can't see it on my screen, but it does have an orange hue to it. Not as vibrant as this orange, but it does have orange. And row 3 is the light orange and yellow. And again, you can use whatever petal you want as well. With this flower that I'm doing, this hybrid flower, it does work best with the with a bigger petal. So either the what's the one? Oh my gosh, the pinwheel petal, or the Dean Michael. So this is the light. Again, I wrote on the board light orange and yellow. Okay, and then row 4 is our half pieces, and you'll see why they're just half pieces. Look how nice and big and open these are, right? Okay, row 4, we have orange yellow. These are the half pieces. You can kind of see it. You can really see it in the in person. I don't know why you can't really see it on the screen. Okay, these are those half pieces. You're going to fold it in half, only to find the middle. I kind of like doing that now. I don't need this one. Where did the other piece go? Right here. I just find when you find the exact middle, it does make a difference, friends. It really does. Just make a little crease at the bottom there so you know where the middle is, and pinch there. 3, 1, 2, 3. And I flip it around. 1, 2, 3. Got these little corners. Again, you can rubber band it, you can zip tie it, or you can simply just put it right into the board, preloaded. Just make sure you put it in the same distance as the other ones. Do that up. And then we're going to open it up. Okay, so this is just a half yellow orange piece. So we got 8 of those, so there's 4 squares you need. Perfection. Well, when I'm teaching, I want to make sure you guys know the tips and tricks and how to achieve the look. Different ways. There's different ways to do things. All right, so that is 4 or 8 half pieces. Now on row 4, we're going to go over top of those zip ties on row 4, down and back up, and leave them open on row 4. We're going to start the rose part of the flower. So down, I didn't bring enough water with me. Back up. So you're going to need 8 zip ties on row 4. You're going to go down and back up. You can just leave them open. Okay. Row 5. Row 5, you're going to use 4 pieces on the normal holes. Look at that. Look at all that on the front, but nothing on the back. Isn't that great? We're going to use the normal holes. So 4 pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to put 4 zip ties in. And you're going to do it up, close, till you hear a little zip. We're going to start our rows. We're going to start in the center. Okay, so we got 4 on row 5. And then we're going to put 1 zip tie right in the center of row 5. And we'll do that up. Now, I have marked on row 5, O, 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 O. I put O-Y. I might just keep it orange. I'm not sure. So these on row 5 are going to be orange. Like I said, we're going to do like kind of a ombre. So the center is going to go orange to yellow. We're going to start a rose now. When we do the rose, I like to start in the center and work my way outside so you guys can see what I'm doing. All right, so our orange pieces. I cut my orange pieces at 20 inches. The reason I cut my orange pieces at 20 inches for the center is because I really wanted that orange to be vibrant. You can cut your orange at 10.5 if you want, but this is the rose petal doubled, okay? Because I really, like I said, I really wanted that orange to show. So you would just cut your piece at 20 inches. You don't have to wood burn it, just cut it at 20, okay? Match up the edges. Okay, so I have the factory edges all matched up. I didn't bring enough water down. Okay, so we have a square. It's a double square. You don't have to do a double square. I just wanted to. I wanted to make sure the orange shows. Okay, so it's 10.5 by 10.5 square right now. The rose petal is the easiest petal that you're going to do. You're going to take your square, put it in a diamond shape. Take the top corner, you're going to bring it down to the bottom corner. Again, I have 4 layers here now. Okay, you're making a triangle. Okay, you got a triangle. And you're going to pinch down at the bottom corner about 2 inches in. Okay, so you're going to have about a 2-inch tail. Again, you can put a zip tie around the bottom or a rubber band, whatever you want. And this is what you need for the 5 pieces on row 5 And then the 8 pieces on row 4 that I'm going to go over top of here, I did them what did I do them with? The orange and yellow. So I did 4 complete ones of the orange deluxe foil with the yellow, and then I did 4 of the value mesh orange and the yellow. Again, you can do whatever you want. I was trying to be a little fancy, so that is going to be for over top of row 4. I probably lost 3/4 of you, didn't I? You're like, what? You'll understand as soon as I start it, okay? Again, this is the starting of the rose part of the flower. I'm doing the rose. You're going to build the rose right in the center. So I'm going to take a piece of my orange, and this is going to be the center, the very, very center on row 5. Okay, we're going to make the bud. You're going to take your little triangle formation, and we're going to roll it. So that corner, okay, that corner is going to meet the center corner, like that. And then we're going to keep rolling. And then this corner is going to also meet the center. So that you're making like a rosebud. Okay, and this is pretty thick, so I'm definitely going to put a zip tie around the bottom. And this is going to go right in the center. So I don't want a big long rosebud. So I'm going to put this zip tie right about where the end of the mesh. So I put the 3 corners are meeting. So I'm going to put it right about one, 2, 3, about 4 inches up. Okay. Stay with me. Don't let me lose you guys. It'll all make sense once I'm done. I promise. Okay, I'm going to squish that, and we're going to put that. This is our center. Just going to loosen it up a little tiny bit. Okay, this is the center. And cut the end off of that and the zip tie. This end is going to go right in the center of row 5, just like that. Okay, and we're going to flip that up, and that's going to be the center of our flower. All right, now we're on that was the center of row 5. Now we're on actual row 5, which is 4 pieces of orange. Again, I doubled it because I really wanted that bright orange color. You don't have to. So you can see that I just doubled it. You can just make a normal, petal with just a 10 by 10 or 10.5 by 10.5. Cut a little bit of this off. Okay, so the tail part of this petal, which looks like an umbrella, we're on row 5. This tail is gonna go towards the outside of our board. Okay, so you're gonna take the end and we're gonna put it right into the zip tie that we preloaded on row 5, past the zip tie on the board. That way, if I pull it out, it's not going to come out, right? All 4 of them are going to go that way. You're going to put all 4 of those petals with the tail of them going towards the outside of the board. Stay with me, friends. Stay with me. Okay. Okay, so we got 1, 2. I need my husband to get me some more water. 3. Okay, and then we got 1 more on row 5. So there's 4. Okay, looks like a hot mess. Don't worry. It'll come together in 1 second. Okay, that's row 5. There's our little center bud. Now you're going to grab whatever petal you want of the 4 you just put on, and we're going to take the corner and kind of wrap it around the center of that bud we made. Okay, you can wrap it kind of tight. Like that. So that's our first one. And then we're going to go to the next one again. It's giving it a big old hug. Okay, so that's 2. Okay, the next one. Just wrapping it around the center. I'm so glad I went. I see how bright and vibrant orange that center is because I used those double pieces. And then the last one. So it's just hugging the center. Yep, trust the process, right, Tina Kelly? Okay, that is our center. If you get this far, you're doing really good. Okay, because once we have everything in, then we'll be able to, it's a little tight right now, but we'll be able to move everything outside once we get everything in, and you'll see what I mean. But you can see that it's starting to look super pretty already. All right, now we did row 4. We had these half pieces, and then we put these zip ties over top of the zip ties on here. Now I'm going to use, what I've done is have a yellow piece with the orange deluxe foil. I have 4 of those, and I also have 4 of the yellow with the value mesh pieces. We're going to alternate on row 4 with these 2 petals. I just trim the tips of these off just to keep it nice and clean. Okay, so this on row 4, the tail of your petal on row 4 for your rose is going to go towards the inside of the rose. That way we're not seeing all this, we're not going to see this sticking out. You know, we don't want to see this sticking out, but the rose is going to wrap around just like that. We're going to have this inner part going towards the center. Now you can do your zip ties up if you want. I just kept them open so you guys could see what I was doing. So I'm just going to start with the lighter one. This is the yellow with the orange value mesh. I'm going to take it, put it into my zip tie. This zip tie on the end, it's going past this zip tie, and do that up. Okay, once you got that, you guys are probably going to laugh at me, but I'm going to get my stapler. I'm going to put a staple right in here. There we go. Now I don't need any clips there anymore. Okay. I'm going to take this. We'll do another one right here. Hold on. This is the deluxe foil. So hopefully you guys can see how it's going from the orange to the yellow, right? Okay, so we're going to take this one, bring it upwards, and it's going to come around, not super tight, but we're going to use some clips. The corner is going to kind of go down towards the board. I'm going to clip. These little fabric clips from Amazon are amazing. I'm going to clip that right there. And clip the other one right there. Okay, I'm going to do the same for the next one. Oops. I want to pull my zip ties out. Again, you can do completely orange. I thought just putting that little bit of hint of a bit of yellow will break it up a bit. So we'll see how it looks. Removing the clips. We want the corners kind of down towards the bottom. And you can see, I don't know if you can see here, but you can see that this rose petal that's going towards the center is covering the zip tie on row 4, right? You're going to keep going around in a circle. So the next one I'm doing is the lighter orange. Okay, and bring that up. And it's just patience. I'm just wrapping each petal around the next one. And of course I had to, yeah, you could staple them. I haven't figured it out yet because of course I have to make everything complicated. So I have to use like fused mesh and everything. But I thought, you know what, if I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make it wow. So now I'm doing I think it would have looked really good with, not that it doesn't look good now, but I think it would have all ate with the deluxe foil over top of the yellow. I think I should have kept it all 8 like that. We'll see how it looks. I have to get my husband to get me a drink. Hold on a second, guys. Honey? Dave? Can you come to the door for a sec? knew I should have put 2. Thank you.
Yep.
I'm not too much longer. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so next is yellow with the orange. Hi, Emily. Emily, I told you me and Ellie ate all those petals. Me and Ellie. Ellie loved them. I love Dave too. So we got the corners going towards the bottom there. Okay. Look at this bad boy, honey.
I've been watching you.
Oh, you were watching me?
Yeah.
Oh. To what do I owe the pleasure?
I watch a lot of things.
You watch a lot of things? Thank you.
I'm multi-talented, multitasking.
Well, I'm almost done. Sorry, I know you can't really see when I do this row. I only have 2 more to do. How pretty this is. Oh, it's going to be fabulous. Fabulous. So again, this is called a Sara flower. Lots of people do it with poly burlap. Poly burlap is expensive. So I'm doing it with all different other kinds of mesh that I happened to have open. And I'm doing it like an ombre style. Okay, I think we have one more. Where did I leave off? Oh, there it is. And I'll show you how to figure out that you got all of the petals in. We're going to flip this over and you'll see. I think this is the last one. Okay, flip it over. And we'll see if make sure we got all of them. So if you flip it over, we're gonna kind of flip these, and none of them should be loose. Make sure. All right, so there's the back. So while I have it over, I might as well put my zip tie on there. I'm going to put a zip tie right up here. There's the logo. Doesn't really matter where you put it. I'm going to go from one hole to the other, and we're going to make a hanger. You're going to put your business card or your sticker on the back. Some of these while it's flipped over. Okay, there we go. And now we have to hot glue some of these. Okay. I'm going to staple this one, and then we're going to hot glue it. Don't want them too tight, right? So let's loosen up a little bit in our center because nothing is like secured in there, so we can loosen it up. There's our little bud on in the center there. And we'll use some hot glue to keep the corners down. My hot glue gun on. It's pretty, right? Different. I wish you guys could see this lighter orange one. Now, if I had a normal, like, foiled mesh, I would probably have used that to go over top of the yellow to make a lighter orange. Staplers are handy, my friend. They really are. So we want to make sure that our corners are down, and then I'm just stapling, and then we're going to add a little bit of glue. You just want to make sure your corners stay down so they don't pop up, because then you won't look like a rose anymore. Glue that. And you guys are probably like, oh my God, she staples it. You cannot see the staples, my friends. You can't see them, I promise. Because we are going to glue as well. Alrighty. Okay, we'll pop a little bit of glue. Separate these just a little bit. Not so tight. And this is what people call a Sara flower. I think it should just be a hybrid flower. I don't know. What do we think? Personally, I think I should have kept going with the orange yellow deluxe foil for the center. So we use that lighter yellow or orange. I think I should have just kept going with all 8 of them with the deluxe foil over top of the yellow. But I've never done this before, so. All right, let's glue this bad boy and we're done. Thank you. Different, right? But like I said, that's what I would change. I've never done a kind of hybrid with fused mesh like this before. I think I would have did the whole thing. Except for the center, I would have kept that solid orange, but the rest, I would have did the orange, the deluxe foil yellow. All right, now I'm gonna just take a little bit of hot glue and we're gonna make sure those corners are down. This is a challenge flower, I'm telling you. This is not for the faint at heart. So what I'm doing is taking a little bit, so right in the center of the petal that's on row 4, that's the Dean Michael one. It's kind of, I'm just putting a dab of glue in the corner of the rose petal. is what is being glued there. Wish I could. Here's one. So I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue right close to the center there, and I'm just going to hold that down. So you don't see any of the zip ties. Yeah, Sara flap, they're really, really pretty. Really pretty. It's a lot of work. Especially I made it a lot of work because I fused everything, but I thought it would look super cool like this. I think it does. Okay. So we just need a little tiny bit. You don't want to go crazy on the hot glue. It's just kind of holding the corners down. And you can't see the glue, so you just put a little bit, like I said, right in the center of this Dean Michael on row 4. And then the corner kind of sits in that little bit of glue. And you can use some clips if you want to help hold it. Okay, I think I'm done. And then if one of these little corners in the center doesn't want to stay down, just put a little dab of glue on the corner. Face that corner down towards the center and it will stay down. Okay, there is your variegated Sara flower. I'll fix the center once it's on the door and everything. But that is how you make a Sara flower. It's a rose center. Oh, this one's not glued. A rose center with a sunflower base. Yeah, I wish I did this all yellow orange. I think I would have liked it better. Well, not that I don't like it, but I think it would have looked better. Okay, kind of move these out now that they're glued. So they're, oh, that one's not. It's not tight. And that's it. That's all I got for you guys, my friends. A kind of ombre-ish Sara flower with fused mesh. There is the front. Like I said, I'll fix it all up once it's on the door. And there's the back. So that was fun. That was fun. So if you like to do flowers, we do still have a few rolls of the 50-yard yellow, and I think we have 50-yard green left too. But If you do sunflowers, that's your biggest bang for your buck there. Alrighty, my friends. Tomorrow or Sunday, I'm not sure. I do have another project on the back burner that you guys have not seen before. Something new again. Using ribbon. I do love doing flower wreaths. I really do. They're my favorite. But different. All right, everybody. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your evening. And I will possibly see you tomorrow or Sunday. We're going to do... Oh, I didn't bring it downstairs. I thought I brought it downstairs. We're going to do a bee-themed new design. New. Alrighty? Talk to you guys all soon. And have a great one. Bye, everybody.